Hello, in this lesson we're going to cover the desktop plugin. And the desktop plugin is a way for users to get documents and files into Drivve from Microsoft Office applications, a desktop hot folder, or really from any other application that they've got. So instead of forcing users to print documents out and scan them back in through Drive Image, or also in order to keep them from having to upload each document individually, we've created a Microsoft Office plugin, also just a local Drive agent that runs on the desktop of the user and allows them to upload files directly into Drivve. So the same place that we went to get the Drive Jobs tool set up, this Drivve setup files, we can go there to get the desktop client here. And this desktop client is also available as a download from Drivve.com. You can send that link out to the users and they can set it up from there. But since we're on the server, we're going to go ahead and run it from here. So the user will need to run this installer. There are a few prerequisites like .NET, I think 4.0. If it's not on the user's computer, it'll go ahead and download it. You see here we have the option of adding the plugins that we want. So if you have Microsoft Office on your computer, you'll be able to add Outlook plugin, Word plugin, Excel plugin, and the PowerPoint plugin. It will by default install the Drive agent. And we're going to set up a hot folder profile here, but it'll behave the same way pretty much with Microsoft Office. So it's going to go ahead and install that plugin. There we go. So the first thing that the user is going to want to do after running the installation is to edit the account settings here for the plugin. And so let's see, if they right click and hit the settings, they can come in here and put their user account in. And I'm going to use my bhill account, which, if you remember, is synced with Active Directory. I also have the server. This is the IP address of the Drivve server. And here we can use either the XML port, or if it were external, we could use the proxy port. So there we go, the login was successful. So this application is now running for that user, the bhill user. Now what the user could do is pick which of these functions they want to enable. Because we don't have Microsoft Office on the server, it won't show these, they'll be grayed out. But what we could also do is create a hot folder. And so what I'm going to want to do is create a desktop folder here. You could also browse that desktop folder and say that's where I want it to be. And we can say which document types, which file types rather, so PDF, Excel, whatever. And so what that means is anything that gets dragged into that hot folder on my desktop, that's going to be sent into Drivve. And it'll also pop up with a short indexing panel that you can use to index a file before you send it up. So we'll just make a test file here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that file right into my scans folder, which is the hot folder that I created. And this pop-up will appear here. And this is the same thing that's going to happen if you're in Microsoft Office, if you're in Outlook or Excel. There'll be a Drivve button as a plugin, and when you hit the button, this same thing will pop up. And you'll see here's the file that we're sending up. And we can actually browse the accounting structure here. So let's say it's accounts payable, and we can say that it's let's say it's a PO. And the invoice number, we can add it there. We can give it a date. We can even search and find a space here. So let's say this is for Beast Beverages. So if I were emailed a PDF or a scan or something that's a PO, I don't have to print it out and scan it back in. I can just use the Office add-in to upload it. So when I hit save, that's going to be sent right into Drivve. And if we log in here, go ahead and log in as bhill. And you see there's that test2dm file that I just created. And it was a text file, but it will render a preview of that text file. So the conversion service is just rendering that right now. There we go. And it'll do the same thing if it's an email. So if I archive an email from Outlook, it'll render a preview here. And I can choose to either do the email or just the attachment or both. And with Word files and Excel files and PowerPoints, you're just bringing the whole file in. But it's a very simple way for users to get documents into the system without having to print them out, just doing it directly from the other application. If you're doing it on a remote VPN type scenario, you're probably going to want to use that proxy server port instead of the XML port, but typically in an in-house environment, it's pretty smooth, and the users will be able to add things directly into Drivve DM.